All right, in this video, we're going to talk about how we can tell if lines are parallel or perpendicular based on their slopes. All right, so parallel lines right here, they have the same slope. I cannot stress that enough. Parallel lines have the same slope. All right, so let's look at that right now. If you look at this line that's on the graph right here, we can figure out its slope by counting rise over run. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, 3, and over 2. So this line, the red line, has a slope of positive 3 over 2. In fact, I'm going to write positive here just so that we know. It is positive 3 over 2. If I want a line that's going through this point to be parallel to this, it's going to need to have the exact same slope. And how did we count that slope? Well, we went up 3 and over 2. So I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and over 2. And I'm going to put a point right there. And now if I draw a line that goes through this point, and I make it nice and straight, do my best, it should be parallel to this line because these two lines have the exact same slope. They both have a slope of positive 3 over 2. All right, I'm going to erase that line off the graph and that point that I just made, hopefully. Maybe it's not going to let me. Okay, so perpendicular lines. Obviously, they're not going to have the same slope. Perpendicular lines are going to have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. All right, so let's talk about what an opposite reciprocal is. Opposite means that one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Reciprocal means one's going to be right side up and one's going to be upside down. So you just take that fraction and you flip it over. All right, so if we're looking at this line right here, let me switch colors so that we're doing something different. Oh, purple, perfect. Okay. If this line is positive 3 over 2, this line right here, if I want the opposite reciprocal, I'm looking for the opposite, like this is positive, so the opposite reciprocal will be negative. One's positive, one's negative. Reciprocal, one's right side up, one's upside down. So if this is 3 over 2, this slope will need to be 2 over 3. This negative 2 over 3 is the opposite reciprocal of positive 3 over 2. Now, if the line that's going through this blue dot has a slope of negative 2 over 3, it will be perpendicular to this. And if you remember correctly, perpendicular means that it's going to cross this line at a 90-degree angle. All right, so I'm going to give myself another point on this line. I'm going to start from the point they gave me, and I'm going to count this slope. So I'm going to go down 2 over 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to wind up right there. And now if I draw this line in nice and straight, maybe, of course not. Hold on, I'm going to do it, I promise. Here we go, line nice and straight. And if I did a good job of this, this should make a 90-degree angle, and it does look like a 90-degree angle. So this would be the line that would be perpendicular to this. All right, I'm going to erase that really quick. We're going to talk about one more thing. We need to talk about how to find the slope of a line if we're given an equation. All right, so hang on. I'm trying to make my brush a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller. There we go. Let's get pretty orange. Great. All right, if I have the equation y equals 3x plus 1, the number that is in front of the x is the slope. So this is the slope. If I had the equation y equals 4/7 x minus 5, this 4/7 is the slope. So when you're looking at the equations of lines, you're always looking at what's in front of x, the coefficient of x, to find the slope.